Okay, I think we're good. Where did I put my phone to check that we're good is the question. Am I sitting on my phone? Or did I take it in the other room? I think I took it in the other room, everybody. Just a second while I check to make sure our audio is working and all that. One moment, everyone. All right. Okay, we got to test. See if this is working. I search Apodemus. We're live. Okay, we are. My game audio is weirdly loud, so I'm going to turn that down. 1 second. Let me see. I think it should be this. Something like that. Let's see how that works, or how that sounds. Something like that. Let's see how that works, or how that sounds. All right, I think that's good. I might turn it back up just a hair. Hopefully, not too much. It's still kind of hard. I understand streamers having issues with the audio stuff. It's like you'd think that there would be like a button you could press to just be like do the audio right, but it really doesn't work that way, unfortunately. We're on to chapter 7, and I believe this is the final chapter, unless there's like a final after 7. But yeah, let's finish up the game, everybody. I don't have a tier list to go into right now. So I'm hoping this works out. I hope.
Now, find Leon and Sadler.
I hope this isn't like a
Leon's headed for their sanctuary. I'll meet him there.
cool audio. Also, whole living Plaga sample. That's cool. I don't remember that asset in the main game, but I might be wrong. Anyway, I hope this chapter isn't super short, but if it is, we'll figure out something to fill the time with.
Hello, stranger.
Hello. I presume this might be our last merchant.
What can I interest you in?
Nothing new, obviously. Unless,
Why not
have we
try
always
your hand
been
at
able
a
to
new
use the
gun,
stingray?
I'd save your life.
Oh, we could fill the ornate necklace. Let's do that real quick. Treasure, inlay gemstones. Ooh, I'm short. Okay, let's okay, I think we need to get a trade. We can get a red barrel.
I'll keep a lookout.
And then we bup inlay 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, welcome. Wilden, what can I do you for? Stranger. Ooh, I'll
Cool.
pay a pretty penny for that.
And I guess the question is, do I want to get the stingray for a final boss fight, or a rocket launcher for the final boss fight? But our inventory is not particularly large, so I don't know if I really want to do that. Don't need to repair my knife. Gun is, or pistol, I should say, is in a pretty good spot. Honestly, everything's in like a pretty good spot. Increased damage is good. Reload speed, rate of fire. Good for boss. Reload speed on this guy is also pretty good to have. Because it's not a fast...
There you are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Feels...
Do check out my wares again soon.
Okay, well maybe this isn't going to be the last merchant we get. Maybe... So like the one thing from the original Separate Ways that we haven't had so far, which we might be about to get, is... Let's see if I can sneak up on this guy. But, oh, never mind. Hello.
Here we go.
There we go. The one thing that is, I think, missing so far from this one that was in the original game is, there's this sequence where you have to, like, there's like a battleship, like a mini battleship that's like docked, and it seems to be indicating that the Ganados are like prepping for like full-scale warfare. I wonder if that's where we're heading right now. Oh, I was hoping that would like blow his leg off. Ow. Dang it. No, they have a barrel. Ow! Still got me. That guy got a shot off before I stood up. We should heal. And hopefully that'll also prompt the game director to drop more heals for me. But yeah, they had a little battleship, and you kind of fight through it. And that was like one of the only... It's like one of the only original gameplay sections in... in the original Separate Ways. Oh, no, stop it. I thought you were dead. One of the only original areas, I guess I should say. We did get 2 green herbs, so cool. And the fact that we haven't had that feels kind of conspicuous to me, as if maybe they're leading up to it to be like, oh, hey, here's this one thing. I thought I was gonna get his arm gun. I did not. There we go. Is that him dead? Yeah. The battleship thing was always kind of interesting to me because I do think it kind of like speaks... Oh, and of course I pick up a red barrel right now. It speaks to the idea that Ganado as bioweapons specifically, not just as like means of control, like the idea that like you're basically making an army of super soldiers who are Ganados. Oh, no, we're just heading up to the finale fight. Okay. I mean, we're still probably going to run around in order to get the... what's it called? The thing for Leon. The RPG. But anyway, the bioweapon thing is something that actually came up recently on the Resident Evil subreddit, and I don't like spend that much time there. I think it's kind of like a mediocre community, but I was like poking around for something, and I couldn't find it. And anyway, I saw this thread, and I was like, okay, maybe I can contribute some to the dialogue. And one of the... Oh. Weird, but cool. I get a beret. Can I equip the beret? Or is that a treasure? It's for selling only. So it's Krauser's beret. Hilarious. But yeah, there was a... Ow. There was a thread of somebody basically asking this question of like, oh, is there ever any like proof to the legitimacy of like bioweapons as like a viable like military solution? Because the idea that they would be used for military applications constantly comes up in the games. Yeah, we're definitely getting another merchant. Constantly shows up in the games, obviously. Like, that's kind of like the big argument behind everything that Umbrella was doing, or at least a lot of what Umbrella was doing. Do I take that next elevator? Yes. So let me just double back. There. Oh, no, I can't go down those stairs. Okay. And I didn't miss any... Oh, I did miss the treasure. We're going to yap, so this is fine for me to run back while I talk. But yeah, like Umbrella, like at least pseudo publicly... Yeah. There was this notion that like they were creating bioweapons for the purposes of military applications, and that's like what world governments wanted them to do. And like obviously they had their own actual agenda, which was like the world power stuff, like take over the world, mind control, next phase of human evolution, immortality, all of that stuff. Let's reload all of our weapons just before we advance too far. That's good condition. We can reload. We should get more shotgun ammo. Also, we craft submachine gun ammo also, just so I have my options. But yeah, somebody was asking like, yeah, is there like, is there actually any viability to bioweapons as like in military applications? Because it doesn't feel as though the games actually like really do much with that, which I would say I disagree with. And like this is one such instance. Justicia statue. Yeah, we got to get one more merchant, I'm sure, before... Yep, here we go. Before a boss fight.
Ooh, you have the stench of battle on you, mate.
Indeed. Also rude to sniff a stranger.
Good things on sale, stranger.
Sella.
Do you? I'll buy it at a high price.
Tune up. We don't need to repair this, apparently.
To suit your specific needs.
Is there anything... I don't think that there's any way we can max this out, so there's no point in doing that. This is at max damage. This is at max damage. We should just... Yeah, up damage as much as possible. Yeah, Ganados in this one is one such example of it. I guess we can save over this. Save over the middle of last chapter. I don't know if 5 is as good of a illustration of the idea of weaponization. Oh, right, the sanctuary section. Right, Ada shows up there. I forgot about that. Hello? Oh, there's the boot knife broken, but that's fine. More gunpowder. But RE6 absolutely has like bioweapons being shown in like full-scale warfare. And was I hearing I was hearing why not? If I ever do a new game plus, it doesn't hurt to have extra money. RE6 has a bunch. RE Damnation, which is like the second CGI film, shows liquors being used in combat situations. Infinite Darkness, which is the Netflix miniseries, not the live action one, but the CG one, has bioweapons on the battlefield.
Leon! Go!
Okay, do we get a pre-boss fight with him? Because that's another part of the original Separate Ways. Yeah. We get like a phase that Leon doesn't have. Ow. Already took me down to basically death state. That's bad.
Tribulation. You were the one in for
Fret not, for your suffering shall soon be over.
Ow. This hit hard. Nice. Nope. I was trying to hit the evade button and I missed. Oh. He does a lot of damage. I might have to redo this fight, but that's fine. Can we just kite him around this thing? Oh. Ow, I was hitting the E button. Does my reload disrupt that? Ow. That's on me. I didn't parry that. Ow. Okay, so that's a multi-sequence hit. I have no more heals, so this is definitely going to be a redo, but that's fine. Oh, grab? Is this a death? Yep. Okay. I did really bad, so that's totally on me. Seems like a cool boss fight. It's like a lot more engaging than the original, as I remember it. Though I don't remember the original Separate Ways fight like super well, so like I don't know. Maybe I'm okay. Let's use all of this ammo before we do anything else.
tribulation. You were the one in for
Ow! I hit space. I think that reloading that crossbow is disrupting my ability to block. Okay. Ow! Yeah, I apparently can't cancel that in order to parry, and I also can't cancel it in order to evade. This is very on me, but like I kind of just want to die. No, I'm cool with just dying to restart this because this is on me. I did bad. Just kill me. It's okay. Fine. It's gonna have me do this, but just kill me. There we go. Yeah, okay. So I actually don't, despite the fact that I just upgraded my crossbow, I think I literally don't want to use it at all. Like, I think I get one shot off right at the start, and then... Oh, and that went... No, we're not doing this. That's not cool, game. How do I restart? You can just kill me and I can restart again. Thank you. I am gonna look back at that footage, but I'm pretty sure the arrow literally went through his body, which is a little bit more irksome and makes me question how much the first version of the fight, that was the longest, obviously, is that actually my fault, or is it the game being weird? Okay. Let's do a increase health real quick. I don't think, nah, that didn't actually do much. That probably wasn't the best use of my, that's fine. Oh. And now I think it's time for double. I was pressing the E button, game. Ow. Oh, and of course, ambulance has decided to pass. I don't know what to do about that either. That's an interesting new complication. Oh! That I didn't expect either. That's bad. I do have a grenade though. That didn't go anywhere. Okay, that's 2, presumably rule of 3. Nope. I don't know what the hitbox is on that. There we go. I was overcomplicating the fight in some regards, but I feel like the game was abnormally sluggish in its response to some of my inputs.
Control, come in. I have the package. This is gonna be hard to explain at customs.
Well done, Ada. Evacuate immediately.
Understood.
Someone is coming to pick you up.
I trust everything is fine on your end, too. Yeah.
And naturally, that brings us to the finale. That seems like we're not going to get the battleship as expected. I think we're just going to have to run around the catwalks, kill a few Ganados on the way to getting the RPG for Leon. I think that's the... If it follows the original game, that's the finale. Oh, we might have to deal with some of the Novistadors too then. Which I think thematically I like that they brought them into this. Into the finale, I mean.
Not long until the bombs on this island start popping off.
All right, obtain a powerful weapon.
Things up.
I sneeze. Sorry, everyone.
Just what I was looking for.
Perfect. Let's do... But can I not zoom more? Also, I thought that would be a headshot. I thought that would be a headshot too. That one also. There we go. Nope. They are mercifully not aggroing
Like that.
as I waste my ammo.
I need to hurry.
We're mostly gonna just run. Not try to fight. I feel like thematically that makes sense. Ow. Never mind. Might have to fight a little. Okay. Out, Mom. That's my fault. I saw it and I did nothing. We combine. We use. We run. Oh. I switched weapons out without intending. Something's up with this mouse. And there's a Plaga. That's bad. Also bad. We keep running. Keep running. Serpentine. Can't pick up theirs, apparently. Okay. And we up.
Deja vu.
I think running was indeed the move.
I'm getting sick of your shit.
No. Is there a note? Thank you for purchasing our warheads. Thank you for your order, Major Krauser. We are humbled that you chose to do business with us, and it is an honor to supply you with our arms. To briefly explain their features, the warheads you requested are hardened to pierce heavily armored targets. They are painted red to make them easy to identify among similar munitions. Not only can they penetrate tank armor and pillboxes, but the explosively formed penetrator jet can even perforate a battleship's thick hull. They are somewhat overpowered, so it is fair to say that there's not a single combat vehicle that can withstand these warheads. We are in no position to ask how you will use these warheads, and it is none of our business. But there is no target that would require the immense destructive power that they possess. Please use with caution. Newman Arms Corp. Cute. Ow. Ow! Rocket. There's a dude with a rocket still. That's bad for me. Full heal. Oh yeah, multiple dudes with rockets. Nope. That way is apparently the way I go. 6. No, 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 why did you switch? It won't let me. This is bad. I've made a mistake, everyone. And I have no more heals. Can I make ammo? I made a mistake, everyone. Am I dead? That's annoying. Okay, before we go, we craft. And we will do some pickups. Okay. Ow! You interrupted me mid-thing? Rude. Ow. Let's just use 2.
I can still make it.
Nope, that's not the weapon I want. That's not the weapon I want either. Come on. There we go. And you know what? Just in case, I'm sure they're giving me plenty of extra time. See ya. Bye. Is there gonna be a warthog up here? Oh, Ashley. Hello.
Leon needs help. Hurry.
Just make sure. Yeah, no pickups over here. Nice. Cinematic finale time.
Nothing personal, Leon. Luis and I had an arrangement. Don't worry, I'll take good care of it. Ride's here. You coming?
I think we both know this is where we go our separate ways.
Haha.
I see.
Title drop.
Better get a move on.
Cute.
Until next time, Leon. Leon!
And I guess the question, do we get a different post? I know we're gonna have her telling the pilot to go a different direction, but like, do we get more than that? Any additional insight that we didn't have from the original game?
Patch me through. I've obtained the amber.
Excellent.
Just one question. What are you planning to do with this?
I do not pay you to ask questions. All you need to know is a new dawn is breaking. 100 will give their lives so that just one may live. I am expediting that change.
So, we're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
How ambitious. We're changing course now.
And I don't have, I'm not holding my breath for it, but I still am kind of cautiously intrigued to see if that is some indication that they're going to be like, quote unquote, like breaking canon. Like, people have already for a long time speculated that the remakes are kind of like, they're not just remakes, they're a kind of reboot that's going to like reposition aspects of the story. I've never been super into that theory, because I think that like most of the changes in 2 and 3, I mean, like 3 had a lot of changes, but I mean, like, I guess like overarching story changes in terms of like bigger picture storytelling of 2 and 3 weren't particularly dramatic. And like for the most part, I would say that's also true of 4, but 4 also has always been kind of like, 4 has always been kind of like a, oh, was that in the original game? The yacht? I presume that's supposed to be where Wesker is, which explains how he is at like some kind of like command station with those big computer screens, but also was able to be on site, like physically around us, sort of recently. But yeah, I've never particularly bought into the idea that they're like using the remakes as a means of like resetting the story in some way. I think we'll maybe get a better picture of that with what they do with Veronica, to see if like, okay, is Veronica going to be like, is it gesturing towards the idea that they're taking the story in a new direction, and like some of the end game plot of Requiem kind of feels as though it's in conflict with the events of RE5. So like Veronica and 5 are, or like Code Veronica, I should say, like to separate it from the remake, but like Code Veronica and 5 are like so intimately related to each other. I'm going to turn down the volume on this real quick. They're so intimately related to each other in very specific ways that like maybe the end of 4, in the way that it points towards 5, is indicating the break that we're going to start seeing with Code Veronica and 5. Maybe taking the story in a new direction, particularly with Spencer and the legacy of Umbrella. I'm not holding my breath for it, though. I said I'm not like particularly inclined to think that Capcom cares much about plot at all. And I think that like, it's not that they don't care about plot, like they care about plot in the way that like they care about making every individual game have a good plot internal to itself, but like the idea of like canon or like overarching series lore is not something that I think most people at Capcom care about, including like people who are really high up. And that's not just because like, oh, like CEOs or like people in suits in the C-suite don't care about it, and like, the creatives are being held back. I think the creatives also kind of don't care. Like like I don't think that that's a bad thing. That's not like an insult on my part. Like I think that like it's just that like the way that fans engage with like lore and canon in general in media is not, I think, B. Yeah, no, I didn't think I would be doing very well. I wasn't going particularly fast, admittedly. Oh. Yes, Krauser's body. Yep, okay. Confirmed that the yacht is his. Makes sense. Okay. 1,800 points. Oh, we got a dress. Oh, we get her RE2 costume also. Alternate I think original game costume for Luis, original game costume for Wesker, different glasses option, cute. Let's take a look at some of those. Why not? Extra content shop. Do I have to unlock the costumes? I can't remember. Or are they just available all the time? Apparel. It's not under apparel. Separate ways. Costume change for Ada. Okay, so yeah, these are... We'll get all the costumes for the fun of it. And these are models that can be viewed, including the beret, the one with glasses, the one with Leon's jacket, U3, the unique bosses basically. You can get brown hair for Ada. You can get the big glasses from RE2. Martinico, who we really don't get very much time with. Like, they introduced a whole boss to kind of be rid of him fairly quick. Let's actually just take a look at some of these. Model viewer. I think they'll be at the bottom because it's separate ways content. No? Enemies. Okay, so they're... Okay, I just went past them. Yeah, this was awesome. This whole fight was extremely cool. Really interesting. This fight I wasn't crazy about. Like I reflect on that in the episodes, of course. It just felt to me like it wasn't ever communicating to me what it wanted from me. Maybe if I replay it, I'll have a better time with it. But and Martinico, cool model, cool idea. It's nice that they introduced this thing out of the blue. But yeah, bummer. We didn't really get much more time with him. It feels like he should have been part of like a much longer section or something. But it's nice. It's nice that they took the time, I guess. So they're not under characters. Where are they then? Ada with the dress and whatnot. Extra content shop, separate ways. Bonuses menu after purchase. Oh, I just didn't buy them is why. Duh. I purchased those, but I didn't purchase... Yeah. I purchased the costumes, but I didn't purchase the models. Yeah, it's fine. I don't need to... Options is... Wait, I forget. Are costumes under options or... I still forget how one does this. I'm probably not going to play a mercenaries round. That's like a little too high octane for this time of night. Options. It's not in here either. What do I want to do for on-screen visuals while I talk a little bit more? I mean, in general, I guess we'll talk over the menu for a little bit, but yeah, I'm not holding out hopes that they're going to dramatically change the plot, because again, I just don't think that like the way that like most creatives go about lore and world building, I think is fundamentally different than how fans interact with it. And like the fan desire to have this like perfect tight knit series of causal relationships just isn't how like most creatives go about making these things. And again, I think that they care about them within this more kind of like isolated experience. But like the desire to carry all of these threads across from one piece of media to another, and for there to be absolute continuity and for all of the parts to fit together so perfectly is like a very, very I think it's like a thing that nerdy fans, myself included, are more inclined to like want, compared to like how they themselves are actually like visualizing this as creatives. And I don't think we're gonna get like a major series like continuity reset. I think Capcom's creatives just don't really care that much, and like contradictions that exist between like the remake and the original, like there doesn't have to be a resolution on like we don't have to assume that like one like supplants the other, or like one is like alpha and the other is like an alternative, or like I think the idea that they're like co-dominant and they're both kind of canon is like something that goes all the way back to RE1, where I'm sure I talked about this during the regular playthrough, but like RE1 is this very, very, very funny example of canon, and this thing that like I'm talking about in general, and particularly the idea that like Capcom has never particularly cared about the specifics of canon, so to speak, is that like the official canon ending of RE1 that we like know to be the canon ending of RE1 based on like every game after RE1 is an ending that does not exist in RE1, which is that there's like 4 STARS member survivors inside the mansion. It's Chris, Jill, Rebecca, and Barry. And there's literally no way to play that video game or the remake, either the 1996 original or the 2002 director's cut remake on the GameCube, where you see all 4 of them leave on the helicopter. That isn't because one of them necessarily dies. It's just that like there's like a Jill scenario and there's a Chris scenario, and like Barry doesn't show up in Chris's campaign essentially, and Rebecca doesn't show up in Jill's campaign. Whoever, whether you're playing Jill or Chris, you rescue the other one who has been imprisoned, and then the other figure, either Rebecca or Barry, is like an NPC in your campaign who is involved in like certain story events. And when you complete the game with either Jill or Chris, you only ever see the other playable character, Jill or Chris, and your NPC from your playthrough. You don't see the NPC from the other character's playthrough. So, you know, they could have rectified that in the GameCube version, which again is kind of like a director's cut, and they just didn't. And they didn't really care to, and I think that kind of is like a really good summary of the fact that like we just kind of have to accept that the canon of this series is not necessarily like, how should I put this? Like the canon is something that we can like assume to learn like as a consequence of the other games, but like we aren't necessarily going to like witness the canon. And this happens as well with like what I was talking about before about like bioweapons being this like huge like military thing. Like we get it in a few of the games and we get it in some of the movies. We don't see a lot of it, but it's like RE Requiem like establishes through some of its flavor text that it's like a huge global thing, that like bioweapons are this like standard international currency, like currency of warfare, I should say, not currency in like a liquid sense, but like in the idea that like the possession and like application of bioweapons is like a standard operating procedure on the international stage. And it's not something that we're ever really going to see in the games. Like there's like, again, aside from maybe like a little bit of RE6, like we're not going to see like full scale Call of Duty war zones with like BOWs being deployed, even though like canonically we're supposed to understand that is in fact the way that this world operates. And like that's kind of just an implication that we are meant to understand exists outside of the games. This is also true of like a lot of character relationships, and I think this is like a funny thing that like the fans of the RE like fans of Resident Evil really, really latch on to character relationships and the characters in general. But like so much of these characters, like we just don't get that much time with them. Like we just don't actually know very much about them or their personalities, and like the totality of the cutscenes in these games is like nothing. You know, like RE2 Remake, like in total, all of its cutscenes, both scenarios, both Chris or both Leon and Claire, like all of their cutscenes combined are like all of the cutscenes in the game combined. I guess it should also including the Ada cutscenes and the Sherry cutscenes too. There's probably less than like an hour of story in that game. And I love that game. It's not, again, this isn't a critique. It's just that like the idea that we have such like an in-depth knowledge of who these characters are and like what their character relationships and like yeah, this is a thing that I feel like fans are project way more onto and like pick up on way more than what we're ever going to like see or understand. And, yeah, I think that's just like a fundamental difference between like fan engagement versus like creative engagement. And, you know, with that said, I don't think that this is going to lead to much. Like the ending of this, which is pretty cool. It's like nice. It kind of, I think it's kind of, if anything, now like the more that I think about it as I talk through it, like I don't think this is indicating that they're going to like change course in the story. What they're doing is that they are like, they're kind of they're washing Ada's hands a little bit by basically saying like, oh yeah, she did steal this thing for Wesker, and this is like a fundamental understanding of the situation that we can't change, that her presence is there because she's stealing the Plaga sample for Wesker. And this ending, what this changes is that like when she becomes aware of what he is using it for, he shows his cards too much, so she like denies him having access to it. And that's not going to change the plot though, because he has Krauser's body. And I think, and like the fact that the island is like partially not detonated, like maybe they can also bring that into an RE5 remake whenever that happens. Like they can bring an RE5 remake and be like, oh yeah, he like salvaged all this stuff from the island, and that's how he's able to get the Ganados, or not the Ganados, the Magini in RE5 up and running so quickly. I think that kind of makes sense. I think that is like an effective way to like also make Ada seem like not such a horrible person, because like if you accept that like in the original RE4, or the original Separate Ways, I should say, her handing off the sample to Wesker leads to the events of RE5, does make her complicit with like a tremendous amount of violence. And I think this does actually kind of, maybe this is the purpose of this ending, is to like absolve her of that responsibility and kind of make it seem like, okay, yes, she is a mercenary, but she does have some kind of like moral core, that she's like unwilling to engineer a situation in which there's like millions or billions of casualties. Yeah, all of that kind of makes sense to me. Though I don't think we're going to get an RE5 remake anytime soon, even though I talked about that earlier this year when we were doing the RE4 playthrough. I brought up like the main game, I brought up this idea that like there had been rumors that RE5 remake is what was coming next. The Dusk Golem rumor about Veronica had come out, but there was a competing rumor from a different leaker claiming that RE5 was next, and the boat section felt like it was kind of like them developing the tech for the boat section of RE5. And there had been some kind of leak about RE5 materials finding their way to the ESRB, the ratings agency in the United States. So that like fueled some speculation that the RE5 rumor was true. It seems like all of this is bunk though, and Dusk Golem was correct. Veronica is next. Presuming that his other statements are all true, that like RE0 and RE1 remakes are in the works, I have heard or seen another headline, and I think this is based on Dusk Golem statements, that there was either a leak or some kind of like some data made available from someone working at Capcom indicating that they have not started on an RE5 remake, and that there is not currently any kind of like internal push for an RE5 remake. Which I would say is a little too bad, actually. Like, to be honest, like, I'm happy that we're getting everything we're getting, and I'm sure we'll get an RE5 remake eventually. Like, I think when they're done with Veronica 0 and 1, like, 5 is kind of the obvious next one, unless they decide to get really desperate and they want to do, like, Revelations, which I would love. Like, I would love them to do, like, a remake of this fidelity of Revelations. I think would be unbelievable. I think that would be so good. I think RE5 is the natural next remake, and I don't want to say it would benefit more from a remake, because I do think that like Zero and Veronica are the ones that just like game design wise will benefit the most from being remade. But I think RE5 could benefit from a remake in that they can like smooth over some of the political stuff that's been talked about. They can also just like smooth over a bunch of the gameplay stuff, because like RE5 plays reasonably well. It's just like they can make it more effective as a single player game by giving better AI to your companion, while also making it a more effective multiplayer game by maybe integrating more modern, like more and better modern quality of life concepts, especially matchmaking. That's like still a problem for people playing RE5 today. But I don't know. We got to see. There's a lot of games. On which point, I guess I'll say, this is done. We're done with RE4, everybody. So we will. I got to get back to Liza P. I do kind of want to. I don't know. There's a lot of games I want to play. Like Liza P, I'm happy I got back into, and I do want to like finish that out. But like, I'm gonna see, maybe I can try to like fast track that or something, just because like I do want to get back to horror games, and I've been like, obviously I'm always into horror, and that's like a big like part of this channel, I guess, is going to be horror engagement. But like I've been watching more horror movies lately. Like I've been like kind of forcing myself to engage with the medium more thoughtfully, and it is quite appreciable. And it's like, it's one of those things that like it's easy to not do. Like it's easy to not engage with horror because it doesn't, like, there's other kinds of media that you can be a lot less present for. Like you can listen to sitcoms and get most of what's going on most of the time. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Horror requires a certain amount of like commitment that other media doesn't, I think, for the most part. And so I think you need to like proactively choose to engage with horror as a medium. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it is like, you have to be proactive about it. It has to be a choice. And I've been trying to make that choice more recently, and it's benefited me. Like I feel good about it, you know, like I like the time I have invested in horror has been like satisfying to me. And so anyway, so gameplay wise, like Liza P has some horror inspiration in places, but like it's not really a horror game. So I'm going to try to like sweep through that quick, and then maybe we can get back to Silent Hill, or maybe we could try Tormented Souls. I don't know. We'll figure something out, but you know, that's it for now. We're going to close out. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Sorry I got a little bit grumpy in there with that one boss fight, and I don't know. It's late, and anyway. RE4 Remake is amazing. Really, really good game. I do actually kind of want to just keep playing it in the sense that like I would actually kind of love to I don't know. I just realized my game volume is like mega low, so I'm gonna crank that back up. Maybe a little lower. I would love to play another like round of it. Like I would love to do a professional mode, but there's so many games to play that there's so many games to play that, I enjoyed it so much that I want to play it again, but there's other games that I need to play on my own terms or on my own time. And yeah, what an amazing remake. And like I've brought it up, but the original RE4 is like probably my favorite game of all time. And like I honestly think this might be as good, or if maybe even better. I don't think it'll like surpass the original RE4's like emotional importance to me, but this might be a better game than what I think is one of the greatest video games of all time and my personal favorite game. And that's like, I say that as like the highest compliment possible, that I think that like for the most part, I think this is like a really, really outstanding game. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you around some other time in some other game. All right.